Welcome back to another episode of The Canon. This is a show where we talk about comic book and superhero movie news. I'm your host, Terry, ready to bring you stuff that matters. First up, we got some drama with the directors again in Warner Brothers. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this guy's name, but the front runner for Warner Brothers Suicide Squad 2 has dropped out. It has been reported that he actually took on the project of Jungle Cruise with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson instead of taking on the Suicide Squad 2. And so now Warner Brothers is now looking for another director. So I am going to keep this, and as most people know, Mel Gibson was the first name thrown out there for Suicide Squad 2. They were in talks, nothing ultimately happened. I would tend to guess is because in order for Mel Gibson to do a superhero movie, I would think he has some really out there ideas. And of course, with DC trying to course correct and be all happy that they probably didn't see his movie fitting in, and he didn't want to have the same situation with David Ayer where, where the studio came in and basically took over his movie. So understandable. But now that their front runners out, it seems logical that Mel Gibson might get a call, or they might go in a completely different route. Either way, I'm not super familiar with the director's work. I've heard of some of his things. I know some of it was smaller. I am really curious about a Mel Gibson directed movie. I mean, say what you want about Zach. Zach has his flair. Patty Jenkins, even though she's been absent, she had an award under her belt with leading somebody to an acting award. Then David Ayer was a monster. I don't care. I still think he's a monster, even with what's happened with Suicide Squad. And so I just thought putting Mel Gibson in that stable, along with James Wan, is just a really great directing group. So, and for him to take on the villains, I just really want to see what he was going to do with it. So I'm happy that there's another shot for Mel Gibson to get it. But we'll have to kind of see how that turns out. Alright, so on to the next piece of news. One thing that turned out is the first look of Domino in Deadpool 2. This is being played by Zazie Beetz from the Atlanta TV show. Now, Ryan Reynolds tweeted out the first image and all that. So I'm going to keep this. It is so different, and it's not as that it's bad. I'm just shocked that they did this. And Deadpool 2, or Deadpool in general, doesn't seem like type of property where they're worried about throwing, hey, we got diversity. Hey, we got representation. Like, they're not trying to feed off that type of audience. So, the pick itself I thought was interesting, and then the look itself is so interesting. So they didn't cut her hair down or make it look typical at all. They let her have a fro out, a little fro hawk, however they're gonna rock it. You can't really tell from like the little tweet, but if you get a bigger enhanced version, you can see she does have the classic Domino face paint, even though it's a little kind of opposite play because the skin's black now. So it's a little opposite where she got the white anyway. So it's a different Domino. It's a very different looking Domino, but I love it. I actually love it. And for me, it's not like a Black Panther or something where it's just like, yeah, we gotta make this black. That makes me feel black. It's just like, okay, this is a character. We know the essence of the character, but let's play around with the appearance for whatever reason, or they really liked to audition, whatever. And it was just like, okay, this isn't essential to who the character is by, letting her have a fro or dressing her like this. So let's just go out with that. I mean, the girl looks gorgeous. We can't get over that. So it just all looks like it comes together. And I'm ready for not even seeing it. I mean, for me, Deadpool's a smaller movie. It's not really so much about the costumes and stuff, even though it looks good. It's more for me, I just want to see the chemistry, because Deadpool pretty much did his own thing in the first movie. So now we got Brolin, and we got Brolin as Cable, and we got Beetz as Domino. So I'm ready to see those three go back and forth. I got to see the dynamic. That's what I'm waiting for. Picture looks good though. Last bit of news, more director drama. in the DCU. So David Ayer, director of Suicide Squad, had been attached to write and direct the Gotham City Sirens spinoff. That was not announced, and then a lot of people thought that he wasn't going to do it. But then he took to his Twitter, tweeted out a picture of Harley Quinn, which a lot of people took as a sign that he's still on. I'm going to sweep it. I'm going to sweep it for a couple reasons. So let's look at this. First off, I don't like this day and age where news is being broken by interpretation of tweets. Like, if he tweeted out, "Hey, I'm still doing Gotham City Sirens," okay, that's a tweet that breaks news. But he tweeted out a picture of Harley Quinn. Now, I get it. You can most likely infer. But it's just weird to me that we play this back and forth game. And I'm sure it's great for all the artists because the media is always in your face and, you know, trying to get a quote. Now you get to control the narrative from behind the keyboard and just be cryptic. So I'm sure they like it. But I just don't like all this news being broke over tweets. So yes, it was Harley Quinn. Yes, we know he's a comic book person. The thing with it for me is that in the DCU slate released in Comic-Con, there is a Suicide Squad 2. There is no Gotham City Sirens. And so you would think a movie that had a director attached to it already would have been part of their slate. Now, they could have been just showing you movies up to 2020 or whatever, and maybe 2021. And they're saying, okay, these movies will come out in that time frame, and Gotham City Sirens is later. Who knows? But they didn't mention it. And so that leaves me to believe Harley Quinn has to be in Suicide Squad 2. That was my question all along. Like, where's Harley Quinn and Joker going to pop up? But with all the talks of Gotham City Sirens, I thought that movie would come out first with Harley Quinn. But since that's not the case, you got to think Margot Robbie is going to be in Suicide Squad 2. So does that mean there's no Gotham City Sirens, or is the movie way down the line? Either way, I agree that Ayer's probably working on the script, working with studios, but I just don't see that movie happening anytime soon. And I don't want the movie, to be honest with you. A Harley Quinn spinoff could go a bunch of different ways, but Gotham City Sirens is not one of the ways that I really care to see it. And so, I think naturally, if you have good movies, you build the universe, and 2021 things are going good, you can expand to a Gotham City Sirens. But right now, we don't need you to force anybody else down our throat, any birds of prey, anybody else. We need to just stick with what we got now and build the world out well. The last thing I'll say about this is apparently David Ayer at a Comic-Con panel for a different thing, he kind of crapped over Warner Brothers, which understandable, but you know, he was saying that he didn't want to make a BS PG-13 movie forced by the studios, something like that. And of course, if you look at David Ayer's his list of work, he's only done one PG-13 movie, and that's Suicide Squad for Warner Brothers. So we know how they came in and changed his movie and made it different. We know that situation. And so, but for you to publicly go out there and say that, even though if you follow David, he's outspoken, but to say that in the public setting while you're still working with Warner Brothers, it just doesn't look good to me. It doesn't look good. So, I mean, a lot of people are saying David Ayer confirms he's still on the movie, and I think he's still attached. Whether he ultimately directs the movie or the movie gets put out, I still don't know. So, I'm going to sweep it for now. I just don't want the movie, and I don't think it's time for it. Alright, so that's the news for today. Go to comment sections. Let me know what you thought. What do you think about the new look of Domino? Give a thumbs up, subscribe, all those good things. Keep engaged, please. Trying to build this up. But yeah, if you heard it here, it's official canon.